Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So, what better place to be than here with me? Good morning, Miss Rivera. You know, I couldn't see any of the comments yesterday until after I got off the show. So, thank you guys. That was my mother's front yard that I showed that I was walking on yesterday. So, I was in the country being revitalized all weekend. And it was a great weekend. So I always wanted to show you guys where I lived, where I grew up in the country. And so you got a little sneak peek of that. So thank you for watching. And thank you for sharing. Good morning, Joshua. So I grew up on truly in the country. So I'm glad I was able to share that with y'all. So if your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows and subscribe over there so that they can get the notification to when we videos are posted, as well as the podcast. I'd greatly appreciate it. I would subscribe to the podcast. Um, that would help out a lot. Um, if they don't do any of that, we have the movie. They don't do any of that. We have the books. They don't do any of that. Tell them I said good morning. Thank you, Joshua. Um, I Now listen, the downfall to growing up in that when you had little boyfriends, nobody wanted to come visit you, right? It was like, oh, you live so because we live 20 minutes almost, yeah, 20 minutes from the closest grocery store. So, um, yeah. So nobody wanted to come visit you when you lived up there. I had the true clubhouse. Like we got sticks and we built our own clubhouse in the middle of the woods. We entertained, and then I grew up where you were kin to everybody in your neighborhood. They were all cousins. So we played softball, we played baseball, we played volleyball. We did all the things together, um, and we hung out. So on this wonderful day, it's going to be the most amazing day ever. Yesterday, we talked about the path of least resistance, right? On yesterday, and what that looked like, and why that's important. And let me give you the quote of the day. Hold on. Life has no limitations except the ones you make. Let me type it for you. Life has no limitations except the ones you make. And it doesn't say whose quote that is, but there you go. So on this most amazing day, and it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a good day. Good day. Let me move this here. It's going to be good morning, Cousin Carl. Good morning, Miss Lowe. I didn't see you guys over there. So good morning. Good morning. Now, please make sure you get it. Let me go ahead and put the links to the Fearless Morning Show notebook, and then we're going to get into the thought of the day and the Sister Rise Retreat. So make sure you check those out. So on this most amazing day, if you share the show, thank you. I greatly appreciate you doing that for me. All right, so today, y'all, we had the quote of the day, which is life has no limitations except the ones you make. And let's talk about big spaces. Take a deep breath. And let's talk about some big spaces. Be comfortable with big spaces. And what does that mean? What does it mean to be comfortable with big spaces? And what are those spaces? Why are they important? And what does that have? What does big spaces have to do with where you are now? So if I'm talking about, yesterday we talked about the path of least resistance, right? We talked about sometimes we're busy in other people's path. That's why we can't figure out our own. Um, that we need to know that we're being guided on this path and do the things that you love, right? To do the things that are important to you on that path to least resistance. And it may be difficult now because you're on everybody else's path but your own. So that was yesterday. If you missed that, please go back and watch that. So today I want to talk about be comfortable with big spaces. And being comfortable with big spaces looks like, how can I put this? You being comfortable with asking for big things. Being comfortable with big spaces looks like, y'all remember my mama's front yard? It's realizing you have, as far as the eye can see, you have the opportunity to ask, and even beyond what you can see, and knowing that you are just the small starting point of the vastness of you. You are the starting point of your path of least resistance. You are the starting point for where you want to go. You are just the pin on the map that says, here you are. And everything in your surroundings is available to you. But it is a big space. It is gigantic. And the more you look at the big spaces of things, whether it is the big space of your career, your relationship, your friendship, whether it is a dynamic change that has happened, that will happen, that needs to happen, be comfortable with the space that it is creating. This is what, and we will do, let's do confessions and conversations with JoJo. This is what I learned. That in the midst of me not wanting to get a divorce the first time, the second time, that I was afraid of the path of least resistance. Number one, I was afraid of really being who I was. And I couldn't get a divorce because I didn't want people to think some type of way. I didn't want to quit the good job because I didn't want people to think some type of way. I had all of these preconceived notions and ideas, but the minute I understood my path, and I took the path of least resistance, meaning I understood what JoJo was supposed to do, even if I didn't see the road clear. Yeah, I remember looking up Mama's driveway. We couldn't see all the way up, but we know the driveway went up more. And even though I couldn't see all the way, I was willing to start from somewhere and to take a step. And when I did that, and all the things where I was the glue of the thing and it fell apart, I didn't fall apart. But all the things around me that needed to, they did. And when things fell apart that needed to fall apart, whether it was a career, it was, in this instance, it was my relationship with my first husband, my second husband, when they fell away and I let go of the stigma of, JoJo, you can't get divorced again. When I let go of that, when I let go of the small thing, remember on the path of least resistance, we said we got to figure out what is blocking you. When I because for me was the idea of, JoJo, here we go again, you're going to get another divorce, what people want to say. I had to let go of that stumbling block. And when I did, it was the openness and the vastness and the bigness of things that allowed me to say, this is my path. But I had to sometimes we assume that It's hard. It's falling apart. And I should really keep it together, when the best thing you can do is to let it fall down, let it fall apart, so that you can understand your path of least resistance. So you can see how big the thing is in front of you. Right now, you can't see what you're doing. You don't understand how big it is because there's blocks in the way. For me, it was, a couple of husbands. That was my stumbling block. Not to say marriage is that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the relationship that developed between the two. And when I let that go, and then this is why we got to be comfortable with big spaces, and we got to allow things to fall and blow up and do their thing. You will be left standing. And now your path may be clearer, because maybe you're standing in the forest and you have all the brush and all the things have grown up around you, and you, for the life of you, can't break free. Whether it's your job, your friends, your family, your career, whatever it is, maybe you can't break free because you, and this was me in a career. This was me in a job. I didn't want to leave. I don't want them to think that I quit. I don't want them to think that I gave up. I don't want them to think that they won. And here I was trying my best to fix something that was not fixable. Not by me. It wasn't JoJo's, it wasn't my path of least resistance to fix that thing. Now, when I understood my path, the way I was supposed to go, then I got comfortable with the big spaces, with the big picture. Right now, we could be so entangled with the minute, small things where, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this and I got to do that you forget to live. You forget you have options. I had a conversation with a lady earlier last week, and she was saying, thank you for something. I said, the point was, I wanted you to realize that you have options, because sometimes we forget we have options. We assume what is happening is the only way it can, it will, it should happen, when that's not true. That's not, there are so many different options and opportunities out there. But first, we've got to realize our path and be comfortable with the space that is going to create. So for me, that meant stepping away from corporate America. It created a space for me, a space I did not know that I needed. It removed a block from me that I did not know was there. And by removing that block, it freed my mind completely, right? To think on a whole different level. And so for some of us, and I will always say, JoJo, we can't get comfortable with the big spaces because we can't think that big. We can't think that big because the stumbling block in front of us is this big. It's so big, it's blocking our view. Right, Joshua? It's a beautiful thing. And you have options. Whether you like them or not, you have options. Whether you like them or not, whether you are satisfied with because here's the thing, you were like, man, I wish I wasn't in this position. I wish I didn't have to make this decision. Don't waste your life wishing your life away. Right, Joshua? And it is with the different, you having to make that decision that you wish you didn't have to make. Yeah, there's a lot of times I wish I didn't have to make decisions, but it's in that moment, on that decision, where you stand up and say, I've got to do this for me. If I don't, I will die. Now you are comfortable with the big space of you, because you're a big deal. If you were not a big deal, it wouldn't be this difficult. Meaning, if you were not a big deal, so many people wouldn't be trying to be so absorbed with, let me stop you or hinder you from doing what you need to do. Because even when we cannot recognize our greatness, other people have recognized our greatness. There have been some of y'all who have reached out to me after the morning show, and some of the things y'all have told me have made me just cry. Because to me, it's just me up doing a morning show. And they said, no, JoJo, this happened, and this, and this. People see what you cannot see. They see your greatness. They see your potential. They see the opportunity for who and what you are. They see your strength. And they do not have to worry when they encounter you. I had one pastor tell me, and this was in relation to a marriage. He says some men seek out single mothers because it is security for them, because he will never have to worry about a place to live. He will never have to worry if the bills are paid, and he will never have to worry if he's going to eat, because that single mother is going to always take care of her children. And whoever is in her household and under her house will be taken care of. And they take advantage of that. Right, Ms. Rivera? All the time. We undervalue ourselves. That's why I say, when I say I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family, I had to first realize I'm going to be a and we might put a B in that, multi-millionaire. I had to first recognize that it was here. It has always been here. Other people were taking advantage of it. And listen, and you can say, Judge, but I'm not. Stop and think about every job you've had. Add up all of your salaries. Add up all the money you spent in your lifetime. Add up all the things that you just let slip through your fingers. You've been a millionaire at some point in time. You just spending and didn't know it. Yes, Ms. Rivera, we are. Right, Tammy? And when I got that, I was like, oh, that's why my ex-husband wasn't worried about nothing. I could cuss, I could fight, I could argue, I could do all the things. But he didn't worry about that bill being paid. He didn't worry about where he was going to sleep. He didn't worry if the house was clean. He could take what I was giving because he was reaping the reward of it. And here you are. I'm trying to do, Lord Jesus, I'm just holding on, trying to do the right thing. When people were taking advantage of Jesus in the church, he flipped over the freaking tables. He went inside the temple and he flipped over the tables. And I can only imagine what he said. Get out my house, first of all. Number 2, I said we wasn't fixing to do this in my house. 3, I bet you he said I can show you better than I can tell you. As he was flipping over the tables. And some of us need to have that dramatic disruption in your life. And here's the thing, it's scary in that moment. Absolutely, it's scary in that moment. But it's creating more space inside of you so that you can understand your path of least resistance. Meaning you understand what you're supposed to do. Now, you can argue with me about what Jesus said in that temple, but I can guarantee you it wasn't nothing nice. He didn't just go in there and flip over the table and say, excuse me, can y'all not do this in my church? No. Words were said. Because guess what didn't happen? They didn't come back up in that temple. They didn't do that again until modern day churches. And then it's called, let's have a church fair and a bazaar. That's my personal opinion. So on this most amazing day, if a disruption needs to come, allow it to come. If a disruption needs to be, allow it to be. Let it stand. Oh, things are going to fall apart if you don't do this. Let them. Okay. Let it fall apart. You will still be standing. That I can promise you. And guess what will be clear? Where to put your foot the next time. Your next step. The next way. Whether you're going to turn left or right. Whether you're going to keep straight. Because there's so many things blocking your view right now. You don't know if you coming or going. You don't know if you up or down, left or right. Sideways or backwards. You don't know. Let it fall. Let the disruption come. The very thing. There ain't a point you got to prove. Stop trying to prove that point that don't matter to nobody. I'm trying to prove that I'm staying married for my child. They don't care. They would rather see you happy than live in destruction and despair. Children are very observant. Let it fall down. Look at the space that is left. Now, again, we're all adults. If you're building something with somebody and y'all have a disagreement, honey, mind your business. I'm talking about people who come to take advantage of. Those little foxes that come that take pieces and pieces and pieces, and they do a little bit by little bit. Girl, can I borrow that? Man, let me tell you. And every day there are energy vampires that are sucking all of your energy. They're sucking your thought process. They're taking your words. They're taking. I spent a couple of hours on the phone with a friend of mine who took all my brain power. And I realized in that moment that I could have packaged up and sold what I gave away for free. And now I'm mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. I'm not saying I don't give back. I'm saying we've got to be aware the value that we bring, the value of who and what you are. People recognize what you are. You may not. That may be difficult for you to comprehend. It's not difficult for everybody else to comprehend. They may say, you know what, Miss Rivera, you about to be the smartest woman I know. Miss Rivera, you make shit happen every day. Tammy, how do you know these things? And Joshua, how do you know how to make this? And they call and they demand things of you all the time because they see your value. You may not see it. Oh, but they know. And they know because they call you on it. Do they not? When that crisis happens at work, who do they call? When a crisis happens in relationships with your girlfriend, who do they call? They see your value. You have undervalued yourself. Well, that's a problem we shall have no longer because we're putting commas and zeros with our value. That's what we're doing. I'm just saying. Because other people are seeing it, why are you not? Yes. Yes, Joshua. And when you feel that small nudge, Jojo, they taking advantage of you. Listen to it. Oh, but they so nice. Listen to what you are saying to you. You know that they're taking advantage. This is my way of giving back. My way of giving back is when at any time point you can pull up in my car and look in my trunk and there's food and there's clothing for the homeless or umbrellas, and I pop my trunk and they can take whatever they want out of there. That's my giving back. When people begin to take advantage of you, pay attention to it. Listen to you because that's what they're doing. And I want you to be comfortable with big spaces. Right now, you're not taking up a lot of space because you're with little people who don't require a lot of space. But your desire is to take up more space in this world. You know that you were put here to be more. You know that. That's why Miss Rivera pushes that live button to do story time. She knows she was meant to do more. And I ain't never met this woman a day in my life. That's why Joshua does his clothing. He knows he was meant to do more. Period. We all know we meant to do more. We're just around perhaps small-minded people who take up small spaces. So when you start to see the increase in your life and you start to grow and blossom and bloom and you start to fill up the space that is yours to fill up, you're going to bump up against small-minded people. And guess what they're going to say? Oh, you doing too much. Oh, who you think you are? Oh, so you all of that, you can't be with us no more. Honey, say correct and keep moving. Because what you can't do is explain that. You can't apologize for wanting big spaces. You can't do that because then the moment You decide to shrink back down and not allow God, which is greatness on display, to live through you and to let it show, is the minute you degrade the entire creation. The minute you settle with small people who in their own right have chosen to live small. That's not your business. But the minute you decide to do that is the minute you now have told the Creator, nah, that's okay. I don't want to live how you told me to live. I ain't got to do that. Right, Joshua? And it's okay to eat. Grow and evolve. Look at everything on this earth. Good morning, Shay. I don't care what it is. It is meant to grow. The trees grow. There's nothing that is planted that doesn't grow. There's nothing that was born that doesn't grow, that doesn't understand and know its path. Not one thing. We as humans are the only thing that questions their plight in life. The dog never questions whether he's going to bark. He never questions if he's going to go sniff. The fish never questions why he's in the water. He just does what he's supposed to do. The bird never questions why he has wings. He never says, why don't I have a house like the human? Instead, he builds what is for him and protects his household. We are the only things that question why we are here. So I need us to get comfortable with big spaces. I need you to get comfortable with the big spaces, and that big space starts with you. Stop bumping up against small people who want to be small on purpose. That path of least resistance. Honey, let that path be. Honey, understand that it's yours. You being guided to it for a reason. Everybody has their own. And if you feel like it, ask yourself, why is it hard? Does it have to be this hard? And if it is, maybe that's because you're on somebody else's path that ain't for you. You wasn't meant to walk that path. That's why I can walk barefoot on rocks and my kids can't, because they not country like that. They didn't grow up like that. I can run barefoot on rocks and honey be A-okay. They about to kill themselves. Mama, these rocks hurt. I don't feel that. I grew up with that. That's my path. And that's what happens with life. We get on everybody's path. I'm on the path that my mama said. I'm on the path that my daddy said. I'm on the path of religion. I'm on the path of this. And it physically hurts because it is not yours. Stop. Let everything fall. Let the destruction come. And now pick up what you want to rebuild. And be comfortable with building bigger. That's the point. Be bigger. Now, we have free will and we have options. You don't have to do any of this. It doesn't have to matter. It can be too much for you. It can be all the things, and I can be too much. But then don't get angry with somebody else who lets the sides off their tent. Go to Isaiah, if y'all, because y'all love that scripture. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Go to the front of that chapter where it says, take the sides off your tent so that I can give you more. If you insist on keeping yourself blocked in and you don't want to take the sides off your tent so that you can experience bigger spaces, that's on you. You cannot get angry with somebody who took the sides off their tent. You can't get angry at somebody who understands that their foundations are made with rubies. Go read the first chapter, the first part of that book, of that chapter. Your foundations are made with rubies. Period. Take the sides off the tent. Period. Whatever you ask, you shall have. Period. Now, some people focus on the tribulation part, and they will tribulate all day long. And they want all the trials. They want all the trials. They want all the tribulations. They want all the problems. They want to be in the box. And in the box they shall stay. Everybody has that option to take the sides off their tent. Because right now you're in a wet paper bag trying to piece it together. So in this most amazing day, I want you to be comfortable with big spaces, okay? I need you to be comfortable with big spaces. The quote of the day: life has no limitations except the ones you make. So stop honoring that excuse today. Let it fall down. Let it burn up, flip the tables, cause a disruption, cause a revolution on the inside of you. And take that deep breath, and with all the scariness and the overwhelming that comes with it, look at the bigness and the vastness of you. You're doing more harm by living small than you are by living great. In the minute you do that, the weight off of your shoulder, thank you, Joshua. The weight off of your shoulder and your mind is going to be, it's going to be worth it all. That I can promise you. That I can promise you. So on this lovely day, I want you to have the most amazing day ever. I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's absolutely nothing after that. Nothing. And I appreciate you hanging out with the Fearless Morning Show. I appreciate you as I walk this thing out to more vastness, to more bigger spaces, that you guys are here on this journey with me. You could have chosen not to be. And so I appreciate that you do. Because you could have been doing anything. And listen, I'm JoJo from North Carolina. We're taking out the word just and the word little. That's who I am. I'm JoJo from North Carolina. The only Live Past Crazy specialist. And if I can't tell you how to live past crazy, what I'm here for. So I hope my stories or the things I have learned have helped you. So on this most amazing day, A to the man, Joshua, I can't wait to meet you and Miss Rivera. Please make sure you grab your tickets to the Empowerment Summit. The early bird tickets are still available. I'll make sure I'll post that link today so you can grab your tickets to that. Sister Rise Retreat tickets go up on June 29th, which is my birthday. Miss Rivera, is today your birthday? I think Miss Rivera's birthday is the 8th, or is it the 10th? I'll wait till she tells me because I know it's your birthday. And I figure we might as well do birthday shout out. So if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Rivera. I can't sing, so I won't sing happy birthday. All right, Joshua, we're waiting. So y'all tell Miss Rivera happy birthday on this most amazing day as she celebrates another opportunity to be miraculous on this side of the living. So Miss Rivera, honey, go be miraculous. Go be beautiful. Let your light shine so freaking bright. Honey, let it be so bright. It don't matter if it's cloudy outside. You bring in the sunshine. You are the sunshine. You are all things amazing. Period. And don't let anybody question that for you. So guys, on this most amazing day, y'all make sure y'all tell Mr. Rivera happy birthday. We give you peace, blessings, and abundance on this day. We give you that. Honey, let it overwhelm you and overtake you and take the sides off your tent. That is my wish for you. That is my desire for you. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I know I'm excited for Tampa. Bring the belly shirts, Miss Rivera. We're wearing the belly shirts. Thank you, Shakira. So on this most amazing day, I want y'all to be peaceful, period. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, let them subscribe to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there as well as the podcast. So I hope you guys have the most amazing day. And y'all, my mother came home with me, so I'm going to go spend some time with my mom this week. I hope you guys have the most amazing day ever. And I will see you guys here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.